from the sidelines on 1580 KGAL.
And a good Friday morning. The sun is shining as I look from our Albany studios here. The sun is shining. Today is March the 1st. A significant change from yesterday when it was February 28th. I'm pleased that we are done with that month. I, again, had made it to my goal to pronounce the R in February every time I said the name, because it's there. If it's there, I think it behooves us to pronounce it. If I had been elected president, which I was not because you didn't vote for me, by mandate I would have removed the R, but it's still there. So we did pronounce it each day of the month. And it's also a diversion, because I would just like something else to keep my mind off of the weather of February, whatever. But it's done. It is March the 1st, and if you look outside the KGAL studios, those of you with the video portion of the program, available for just $5 a month, $500 for this month after the first month, and 1 year minimum. But we can work that out. If you look outside, you will find that it is one gorgeous day with a high, they say, maybe 60 to 65 degrees. So a good Friday morning. I say that earnestly, although I do want to pause before we start today. I often say there are no atheists in broadcast booths. That's because you never know what's going to happen. So a moment of meditation. The computer here in our studio, and we are in a remote studio. We're in a remote location, so that when we say anything that really ticks you off, you can't get a hold of us because you don't know where we are. You go to the main station, and you beat the tar out of somebody like, I don't know, I'll give you Ryan Murphy's name. Ask for Ryan at the main studios. And if you're angry at us, take it out on him. Okay, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He's a nice guy. So we do this from a remote studio so that you can't get your hands on us. And we're at the behooving of the little, I just gave you a little tap. Don't get angry at me, of the computer over there. And the computer back at the main location in Lebanon. Everything is run through that computer. Now, when we want to take a break and play our commercials, there's a little red button over here that I can press. However, the computer back at the main station has not been waiting for me to press that little red button. It's been doing it on its own. It has been providing a critique of the program on its own. When the little computer back at the station finds something it doesn't like, bang, it splits and goes to a commercial. You hate to have, a critic in the computer that's running the show. I mean, that's really low. But we are hoping that today, it happened twice last week, we're hoping today that it won't. So we stop for just a little minute, hoping to get the whole audience to meditate, and a little silent prayer that the computer at the station will not break into the program right in the middle of a sentence for us. It will not criticize whatever I may be talking about and have its own little critique by cutting me short or anyone else on this program. Could we please concentrate on that thought? All right. And if that doesn't work, I just want to say to the computer, I know I have my differences with you. I know though I belted you and flayed you by the living God that made you, you're a better man than I am, computer din. And, I accept that. The computer is smarter, brighter, faster than I am. And I want you to know, computer, although I badmouth you frequently, I have one of your brothers at home. And he's at home. And I want to tell you that again. I control one of your brothers that is in my household. If you continue to give me the same kind of crap that you've been doing the last few weeks, I have that little brother. I use the little brother for information and things. When I'm not using it, I keep it tied up with a bag over its head in the basement. I could do worse. It's up to you, my little friend, that's what I'm saying, my little friend. If you want to be good today and not cut into the program awkwardly in the middle of a sentence, fine. If you wish to do that, your little brother can have a lot worse than be tied up with a bag over its head in the basement. I don't want to threaten you. I don't want to be nasty. I'd rather you accept the first part is that we're friends and let's stay that way. Okay? All right. That's nice. There are no atheists in broadcast studios. Also, today we had the monitor, I guess, has been fixed. It was perfect last week. What I hear now is loads of static. and the monitor. Can you tell me why? Never mind. All right. It's good to see you this Friday morning. It's really, just so they know back there that, no, the monitor does not sound good. It has a lot of static. A good Friday morning to you. I'm Radio Ray. Wally Ordeman is not here today. I guess Wally had to go to, my understanding is that he has to get out of the country because he's doing that March Madness thing again, the Orta scam, as we call it. I think it has something to do with, I don't know, taxes on the winnings that his family keeps getting in his little brackets in March. So he's out of the country, I think, for at least today. He says he'll be back next week. We'll see. Also, so that's one down. Kevin Johnson, who is the coach of the Lebanon Warrior basketball team, was going to be here today, but he couldn't make it because Kevin also teaches a class at Lebanon and couldn't get a substitute. So we were counting on having Wally here this morning. He can't make it. And counting on having Kevin here. He can't make it. They're dropping like flies here this morning. But thank goodness, a man who does not discriminate and say, I'm not coming, a man who takes the punishment, sits right across from me. Welcome, Rob Allen. It's nice to have you here.
Good morning. I'm here for you.
Which mic? You're on 3. That's right. There are 2 people in the studio, but you're on 3. No, that's fine. There we go. I'm quick, fast. Get paid the big bucks. Should have had it on to begin with. There
you are. A professional. Yes, I'm here for you. I'm here for you, buddy.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. Last week, if you remember, at one point we were talking about girls basketball, and in fact, we'll talk some of the broadcasts we have on both K-Show and KGAL this weekend a little later. But we were talking about last year in the championship game for girls basketball at Matthew Knight Arena, Willamette and Springfield matching up. Quickly to go through, Springfield still has, Mercedes Russell.
Yeah.
Mercedes Russell, who has been with them the last 2 years, and they've been the state championship. They've been the state champion for 2 years in succession. And this year, she has already committed to play basketball at Tennessee. And those of you who know your sports stuff know that's a big-time women's program. She has already committed, even though she's had not yet begun her senior year. They want her. That's how good she is. And likely the odds-on favorite to be the champions again this year. Last year, they met a team from their own division, the Midwestern Conference, in Willamette in the championship game. They had defeated Willamette twice, Willamette employing a certain strategy. When they got to the championship game, Willamette decided not to use the same strategy. They slowed it down. Slowed it down to where they would come into front court and do nothing. And then the burden is on the defense to come out and meet them. And if they do, then you have to move the ball. But until they come out to you, you don't have to do a thing. They did not. The score at halftime was 4-0 Springfield, boring the heck out of the crowd that was there, angering certain people, including Wally Ordeman, who last week made it known he didn't like the strategy. We went through this whole thing. I said, you employ whatever strategy you can do to need to win. It was fine. And then we got into a long discussion. We'll not do that again. But last week when we talked about Willamette, I said one of the reasons they did that is they did have outside shooters. And they were hoping that maybe they could just keep the score down, 0-0, take a 3-point shot and hit it.
Right.
And walk off with the championship,
Yeah.
But they didn't shoot that well. They fell behind 4-0. And I mentioned one of the youngsters on the team. Her last name is Glassow, and I think the first name is Brittany. I could be wrong about that. But I mentioned that I knew her father. One of the things that made it interesting to me, I knew her father years ago, Marcus Glassow. He was a gym teacher at Elmira Elementary School, where my wife was the principal. So I hadn't seen Marcus in years, but I knew him long ago, and his daughter is now at Willamette, which makes it interesting to me that his daughter is one of the good shooters from Willamette. Do you recall that?
I do, and it is Brittany. Brittany is her name. I do remember you mentioning that name.
Well, it turns out I have this interconnection with the universe, this cosmic connection, this ability to key into the universe and future occurrences. I mentioned his name last Friday morning and that I knew him years prior. Hadn't seen him since or heard from him since. I noticed on Saturday, picking up the Friday newspaper of the Register Guard, there was a picture in the paper of Marcus Glassow. And it was Friday's paper which would be the same day that I mentioned his name here on the program and said I hadn't, knew him years ago when he was a gym teacher at that school. Hadn't seen him, would have no reason to see him since. There was his picture in the paper that day, not sports related actually. He was with a 4th grade class doing something or other in Eugene. And there he was in the newspaper.
Coincidence.
More than that.
More than that.
It is a cosmic connection. It is a oneness with the universe that I possess. Last week, I got out Fats Domino's Greatest Hits, whatever it was, Tuesday, something like that. Hadn't played that in a couple of years. Got it out, played it. The next day, when we were going through this day, the birthdays, Fats Domino's birthday.
Wow.
85 years old, the next day. I have this synchronicity with the universe. And the reason I bring that up is I want you to know that in the audience, so that some of the things that I say here from the sidelines, you may disagree with. You obviously should not. Because I am at one with the universe. Sometimes I foretell things that are, if I see it or mention it, it's going to come up. Something connected with it will come up. So I would be very careful, if I were you, about disagreeing with me on this program. And I also say that to you, Rob Allen.
Okay.
And to Scott Langren, who's here in the studio.
Welcome.
That's a lesson learned right there.
Right.
I almost feel threatened, but I'm not.
No, it's not.
I'm not. No.
It's not a threat.
No, it's just...
If you want to disagree with me, go ahead. But I would ask you then to ponder the foolishness of doing so.
I thought he was going to say, "Go ahead and make my day."
Oh.
Yeah, one of those.
No.
That would have been nice.
If you want to disagree with me, go ahead and make my day.
All right. So that's set. The ground rules are set for today. You have my advice to you about listening to carefully and accepting the wisdom of what I offer here in the next 45 minutes. Let us begin to get our warm-ups for today. Scott Landry, please, if you would, step forward to the microphone and spell Yastrzemski. These are the warm-ups we do because any sport, you're going to do exercises, stretching and all. This is stretching our sports memories, and that's what we have to employ here on the program. Scott?
Yeah, I'll pass.
You can't pass.
I think I can pass.
You can't pass on the warm-ups. You have to do the warm-ups.
I think you can get the first letter.
Why?
Are you asking me? Is that
No, the letter Y.
Oh, the letter Y. That's correct. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, there we go. I got the first letter. That's good enough for me.
As the coach of this team, I'm sick at their attitude. A coach is only as good, you can try certain things as a coach to get the whole team in shape, but if the team won't follow you, you're going to be Mike Brown with the Lakers. You're going to play 4 games, they're going to fire you. They're going to bring in some idiot that does worse than you did, but they can't fire him now because they got to have him for at least 6 or 7 games before they can fire the guy. They blame it on the coach. I'm trying to coach you. I'm trying to help you out here. Get you ready. Please work with me here.
I tell you what, by the end of the show, I would love to know, a lot of contracts have been reconstructed this week in professional sports. I'm wondering if Ray reconstructed his contract and took a pay cut like Tom Brady.
Maybe.
I'm supposed to have...
For the betterment of the team.
Yeah.
I constructed the contract years ago, and I don't want to say anything, but management has not bothered to adhere to that contract. I'm supposed to get off for Kari Yastrzemski's birthday. There's a lot of other things.
A lot of other birthdays, too.
I'm supposed to be off on Elvis's birthday. I'm supposed to be off on Pat Boone's birthday. I'm supposed to be off on Doris Day's birthday. Dinah Shore's birthday. Birth date. They're not alive anymore. I don't get those days off, so don't talk to me about my contract. It's a story.
I'm sorry.
Rob Allen, spell Yastrzemski.
Why?
This is terrible.
I could find out for it.
Make sure to attend the Albany Rifle and Pistol Club's 2013 Spring Gun and Sportsman Show this weekend at the Lynn County Fairgrounds in Albany. You'll find over 20,000 square feet of exhibits, including guns and ammo. Free parking and admission is only $5. This weekend, March 2nd and 3rd, Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 9 to 4. Call 541-491-3755. Take the I-5 exit 234 to the Albany Rifle and Pistol Club's 2013 Spring Gun and Sportsman Show. Call 541-491-3755. Be there. The Albany Public Schools Foundation presents the iRun. Don't be confused. This is not a new exercise device. This is the iRun for Kids 5K run walk and 10-mile run on Saturday, March 16th for the Albany Public Schools Foundation. Register online at albanypublicschoolsfoundation.org. I Run for Kids proceeds support Albany Public Schools Foundation's Classroom Grants Program, enriching the education opportunities for Albany Public School District students. Let's run together.
Looking to save money on lighting fixtures, lamps, shades, gifts, home decor? Larry and Marge Tomlin, owners of J&J Electric, invite you to compare prices, but don't buy until you've seen the high quality and low prices at J&J Electric. Visit J&J's spectacular showroom. Allow plenty of time for browsing. You'll find antiques, gifts, home decor, and of course those beautiful lighting fixtures. The hometown folks at J&J Electric appreciate your business. J&J Electric, South Pacific at 22nd in Albany. Going out to lunch at a nice restaurant can be expensive, and the big portions put you more in the mood for a nap than a productive afternoon. Mama's Fine Italian to the rescue. The small appetite senior menu is just right. Anyone and everyone is invited to order from the Light Appetites menu for lunch from 11 to 4 p.m. with tasty entrees beginning at only $3.95. Why go hungry or go anywhere else for lunch? Eat healthy, eat light at Mama's. Closed Sunday and Monday, so make the most of Tuesday through Friday and join your friends at Mama's for lunch. Dinner only on Saturday. Mama's features charbroiled steaks every day. Make reservations for dinner or pick up a bottle of fine wine. Seating is limited, so please call for reservations. 541-451-5050. That's 451-5050. Mama's Fine Italian and Wine Shop on West Oak between Main and 2nd in Lebanon, across from the Big Blue Napa Auto Parts building.
Horse lovers and ranchers, there are wild horses that need immediate help in Wheeler County, Oregon. This country near Fossil and Mitchell is beautiful, but this harsh winter has the wild horses starving. Local residents are working with Wheeler County Sheriff's Department to feed and adopt out these horses. Donations to purchase hay can be arranged by writing to Chris Humphreys, P.O. Box 345, Fossil, Oregon 97830. You may also contact Barb Leach at your Albany or Corvallis Equine Exchange for more information.
Your voice of reason in the West is Hugh Hewitt. Weekday afternoons at 3 on Smart Talk 1580.
Well, so much for the power of broadcast prayer today. It didn't work. The computer cut in. Nobody knows the reason why it's happening. You're trying to stop it. Anyways, nobody's going to spell Yastrzemski. Nobody's gotten the thing right here yet, I don't think. So the computer got sick of that, and I don't blame it. Just cut us off. So let's get to something else here. Welcome to From the Sidelines. We do this each Friday morning, believe it or not, at 1580 KGAL, locally owned and operated. Around the horn here, it's I'm Radio Ray at home plate over there. At what would be third base is Scott Landgren. And right in front of me, which would be the shortstop, or second, what do you want? The second shortstop?
Second's good.
All right. At second base, Rob Allen. Let me ask you guys a question to get your opinion, because I know you're both, you like watching games and you're sports fans. The Pac-12 network really irritates me this year. I don't like the Wednesday games. There really is nothing wrong with the Wednesday game. I am to blame for that. I can't get used to the fact that they're playing games on Wednesday, and I constantly forget. But that's really not an argument for them not to do Wednesday games. It's eventually we'll get used to the fact. For example, yesterday I was guilty, since the Ducks and the Beavers hadn't played yet, I was guilty in early morning doing sports of forgetting to check the Albany paper, the Democrat Herald, on the second page where they got all the little scores down. If you get a magnifying glass, you can find them, and if you look in the right column, you can find the scores.
Yeah.
You know that? I forgot to check on the Wednesday games in the Pac-12, thinking, they would all be played on Thursday. So that's my fault. We should adjust to that. But I don't like the whole idea, for example, of the Beavers or the Ducks on a Wednesday or Thursday night playing at 8 o'clock. It's a nuisance, and it really irritates me. I know that it's worth money to them, but what's better, that they have the money to spend on, maybe recruiting a little better, whatever it may be, or to please us, the fans? Scott, you have any objection to the...
Well, I don't. It always used to be Thursday, Saturday was the games. And, I guess I can be okay with them being on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. But I don't like the 8 Last night there was a game at 8:30, or Wednesday there was a game at 8:30. UCLA played at 8:30. That's too late.
An 8:30 start?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I thought it was a replay of the game. I forget that there's games on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't have a problem going to a game whenever, but a lot of people will get up for work early the next day, so they wouldn't want to go to the game.
No.
Or stay up to watch it even.
No. Well, that said, you just listed some of the objections to what they're doing.
Yeah.
What would you tell them? Go ahead and keep doing it, or would you suggest, no, I want you to make a change?
Well, I'd like them to make a change, but that doesn't mean they're going to listen to me.
Oh, I know that. But just as fans here, what we say, and again, with my oneness with the universe, whatever I finally say in the conversation, that's it. That's what they should do. But as fans, we can tell them what we think they should do.
Well, the problem is that they have games on the Pac-12 network and also ESPN2 or ESPNU, so they have to, work around their time slots pretty much, which sucks. But I would say, keep them at 7:30. That would be the latest. Do one at 5 and then one at 7, like they used to do.
They're trying to appease the East Coast. They're trying to get the interest in the Pac-12, the East Coast, particularly when it comes to ranking the teams on the West. The West Coast teams seem to suffer. Maybe because they say it's because some of the journalists maybe don't see them enough, don't see them often enough. Now, if they can start a game at 5 o'clock, that's 8 o'clock in the East. That's still late for them, but at least, they get to see it. I think it's a real annoyance. And the Ducks are noting the fact that, last night they had over 10,000 people there for yesterday's game, and that was an 8 o'clock start, right? It was 8 o'clock because we had that on the air, 7:30 pregame. 8 o'clock again is late, but they did get 10,000 people, which might indicate that people are beginning to adjust to this change. But throughout the season, the Ducks, with their magnificent holy palace down there.
The Osgood File, sponsored in part by Regis. Let Regis help you to focus on your business while they take care of your workspace needs. Get 2 months free on a fully wired and furnished office. Call 1-800-OFFICES. This is Charles Osgood. 2 British designers have come up with a wonderfully low-cost, low-tech, high-impact source of light for a third of the people on Earth. It requires no batteries, no kerosene or fuel of any kind, and there's no running out of what it runs on, which is gravity. Jim Reeves is one of the 2 creators.
So the product consists of the generator ambient light unit. It's shipped in a very robust bag which takes ballast. You take it out of its bag, you fill this bag with gravel, sand, soil. You attach the bag, you hang the product, and when you lift the bag, then you have your light source.
More after this. Businesses, from startups to Fortune 500 firms, have something in common. They're intentional, they focus on success, and they don't get distracted. And many successful businesses have something else in common. They work from a Regis office. Your beautifully furnished wired Regis office can be ready when you need it, with a receptionist, access to meeting rooms, and state-of-the-art video conferencing, all with no long-term lease. Regis is the new way to work. Call 1-800-OFFICES and get 2 months free when you mention Osgood. That's 1-800-OFFICES. In this moment, who has your back? An insurance company delivering excellence during your claims process? Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. Let an Auto Owners independent insurance agent have your back, so when the unthinkable happens, you get the claim service you deserve. For J.D. Power and Associates award information, go to jdpower.com. Find your local independent agent at autoowners.com. The Gravity Light is designed to sell for around $5. Each 3-second pull on the bag produces a half hour of useful light. It's cheaper than solar technology. Co-creator Martin Ritterford can explain that.
The trouble with solar technology is that you have to charge a battery with the solar power that you've gained from the sun, then use the battery power to power at night. So it was really important to find the cheapest way of supplying reasonable quality light to these people.
To these people, the Gravity Light can be a giant leap forward. Right now, says Jim Reeves,
A third of the world's population is off-grid. So you've got large communities across Africa and India and South America and even Northern Europe and into Russia where power is either intermittent or absent. So we want to take a large number of the devices out to the intended end users, get feedback on how the product would perform in the field. It's very different from the conventional solutions that people will be familiar with.
To them, changing the world is, to use our late colleague Eric Severide's phrase, not so wild a dream. the Osgood File. I'll see you on the television come Sunday morning on CBS. This is Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
Steve Holy brings his hot country sound live in concert to the Lake County Fairgrounds, Saturday, July 20th.
Good morning, beautiful.
Concert is free with your general admission ticket. Limited reserve seating is just $15.
That was wonderful. I got a brand new girlfriend.
Steve Holy. Go online to LinnCountyFair.com to purchase your tickets today.
To LA for the weekend.
What makes Donna Bella Fine Lingerie so special? Selection, price, attention to detail, and support. Donna Bella carries all sizes from petite to plus size. Service. Personal service is one of my favorite special things about Donna Bella. Purchasing a bra should be easy, but one size does not fit all. And there are so many things to consider. Donna Bella Fine Lingerie in Corvallis takes the mystery out of finding the right bra for every size woman. Off the rack is great for about 5% of the ladies, but that kind of bra doesn't hold its shape, it's uncomfortable and poorly made. A quality foundation is worth every penny, and you'll find only quality at Donna Bella Fine Lingerie. Donna Bella Fine Lingerie, 117 Northwest 2nd Street between Jackson and Monroe in Corvallis. Log on to DonnaBellaLingerie.com. Donna Bella Fine Lingerie. Gift certificates available too.
The news you need, smart talk, and just enough sports. That's what you'll get from News Talk 1580, KGAL.
Wow.
That's nice. That's new.
Bob Mashugna Band is...
Yeah, they are.
They've been working on some new stuff.
They weren't supposed to be. Somehow it just kept playing and went through that number there after I tried to reset it. Well, once again, the computer back at the station took it upon itself, and I warned that little devil. I warned you that I have one of your brothers in the computer faith. He's at home. He's sitting in the basement right now, tied up with a bag over its head. It can be worse, and because you have again, for the second week in succession, interrupted us twice, it will be worse, my friend. You can dish it out. So can I. So can I. All right. Wow, hey. Whoa. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to From the Sidelines. Over there is the smiling Scott Landgren and the smiling Rob Allen. We were talking about the Pac-12 network. I wish that they would take a vote of fans what they're irritated with. Not that they can change it. They want multiple games. That's why some play Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday instead of all on Saturday and Sunday. They want multiple games so more people can see more teams out of the Pac-12, a greater awareness of the Pac-12, West Coast basketball, thinking that will in some way improve the interest, and maybe in the younger generation that will improve the quality of basketball, etc. But I don't like it. And I was talking about the fact that the Ducks, with that magnificent palace down there in the middle of Franklin Street, in the middle of, gas stations and strange little houses behind it now that are being torn down, and the people are being evacuated out of those houses. They're being thrown out. They have this terrific, terrific new stadium. They're not getting as many people as they wanted on the weekday nights, and I think very quite reasonably that some of that is the times that the games are starting.
Times of the games, and the Ducks, are in a heated race in the Pac-12 for the top spot.
That should draw a crowd.
Absolutely.
And they're not getting that crowd, and that's what's upsetting. They can't do much better than they're doing this year, and except for last night when the Beavers got to town. The Beavers had a 7-point lead at halftime. We'll leave it there. So I am upset with the Pac-12 network, and I don't like the whole thing, and I'm not sure. I feel the point I wanted to make is that somehow I think it has drawn me apart from Oregon State basketball this year. And I think a part of it is the scheduling and the times that it's starting, and I know that I can't go to games, and I keep forgetting when the games are being played. I think it has made me withdraw from Oregon State basketball. I know little about it except that they've won 3 and lost 13 or something.
I remember the days of KBTV 12 and Raycom Sports used to carry Beaver basketball, and it used to be the Pac-10 game of the week. So if your team was featured, it's the marquee matchup. It's the one, and back then it was Gary Payton, it was Eric Knox, it was primetime Oregon State basketball against Arizona, Sean Elliott, Steve Kerr. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s. It was really, really good stuff.
This is this nostalgia. He sounds like a 105-year-old man.
I'm almost starting to cry, actually, about it when I think about it.
I'm more malleable, I think, than you are adopting the change than you are. You're set in your ways. So the complaint has been uttered here, and I would think it's one that many people would echo at home. Today, the Beavers are playing baseball at home, and the temperature this afternoon, they say, will be 60 to 65. Saturday is a little more questionable. There's about a 40% chance of showers now, 50% on Sunday. But it's like Mother Nature knew that they were going to be playing baseball at the park today. I'm sure it had nothing to do with that PK park down there, the one that imitates Oregon State baseball.
That's right. Phil Knight. Is that PK? Phil Knight?
It's Phil Knight or Pat Kilkenny. Oh, we ought to vote on that.
Oh.
Pat Kilkenny was the athletic director who raised the money for it. Let's have an official vote. Phil Knight, Pat Kilkenny.
Well, I'm going to say Pat Kilkenny because it is Kilkenny Court in Matthew Knight Arena, so I'm going to say it's Pat Kilkenny.
You're going to take a chance. Let's say
I'm going to take a risk.
Let's say you're in the Duck Athletic Department.
Right.
You are going to name the stadium after a former athletic director who's gone now. We could care less about him.
Well, they did name the court after him, and it's still that court, so...
But you are the athletic director or something in the athletic department now. You don't owe anything to Kilkenny anymore.
Well, then why not change the name of the court?
He could be out of the country with Wally, for all we know, wherever Wally is. But you've got Phil Knight. You still need his money, and you're going to take a risk and name it after Kilkenny?
Well, maybe that's why they named it PK, so nobody would know what it is.
Right. Yeah.
No, maybe that's why you will never be in the Duck Athletic Department.
All right. I wouldn't be anyways.
So you're gonna name it after Kilkenny.
Phil Knight.
Rob?
I would say Phil Knight. Pat Kilkenny Court. He wasn't even a coach.
The court's named after him. I don't know why.
At least we've got Ralph Miller Court. Ralph Miller was a coach. He donated a lot of time.
He certainly was.
Not so much money, but a lot of time.
So you would name the baseball stadium
Phil Knight.
Phil Knight. I get it. Yeah. I would.
His name's everywhere else in Eugene.
I'm going to think of somebody else because I don't like either of them. So I say let's get a totally different name for that park. CK Park, Copycat. Now I know K is, we got to get a K in there somewhere because it's PK. I'll go CK, Copycat. And Top Cat. Was Top Cat spelled with a K? No, I know cat occasionally is spelled with a K just to be cute. So we'll name it CK Park, Copycat. Yep. Because, hey, look at the Oregon up there at Corvallis. They got the baseball team and they won 2 championships. It has nothing to do with wanting to emulate Oregon State. We're going to build a beautiful stadium just because we love baseball now. Something that we didn't love until Oregon State won 2 championships. But that's just a coincidence. The voice of Oregon.
That's how they sound down there, too.
That's it. The Beavers at 5:30 today. They're 8-0. First time in 51 years, 1962. Neither of you would remember that date, would you?
No, but that's amazing.
You're a teenager. Yes. I've been a teenager for a few years already at that point. Of course, I didn't know anything about Oregon State baseball in 1962. But they're 8-0, and they're doing, smart management. Today they're playing one guy named Bryant out there. Unless he's an awfully good ball player, he's going to have a lot of trouble.
Oh, that's true.
Beating what is a good Oregon State team.
Right.
Bryant. Where is Bryant from? That's our question today. Scott Landgren.
Oh.
Can we have some more time?
You've got the so-called smartphones. I hate that. I hate to admit, you call that thing a smartphone, you are immediately admitting that you now, as a human being, are taking a second, a back something or other, a back seat to that phone.
I want to say it's somewhere on the East Coast.
I don't know.
I want to say maybe like...
Louisiana?
That's close to the East Coast, huh?
I don't know.
I'm going to say it's like in South Carolina.
All right.
That's my guess. I don't know.
I'll go with North Carolina.
Okay.
Is that where it is?
No.
He's searching.
He's searching.
All right. Louisiana. And we're searching here, ladies and gentlemen, at home. If you got
Big
them,
bucks.
smoke them.
No whammies. Come on.
No.
Bryant University's coming. It's coming.
I've got to stop saying that. If you got them at home, smoke them. That's bad. If you got them at home, chew them, whatever it is. No, I'm not talking tobacco. Just eat
Gum,
something.
chewing gum.
Yeah, get some gum out. Do something.
You know, that's...
Let me say this. If that phone is so darn smart, why are we still waiting for the answer? The softball team.
Continue to talk.
Do you know where they are this weekend? I was going to check that. I didn't check it beforehand.
I don't know.
And
I do know they are ranked 24th, though.
Are they?
Yeah.
Isn't there something like 11 straight now or something?
I don't know.
Is that too much?
It's a lot. I remember when we went up to one of the trips last week, and we were talking about they had won, 6, 7 in a row? So it could be up to 11.
I don't think they played last week.
Well, maybe they didn't. I don't know.
They were 2 and 3, but I think they've won a bunch. They've won a bunch in a row since then. And the answer to Bryant, where is that guy from?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Yes.
Rhode Island.
They do have a college there.
Who knew, huh?
Nice choice, Pat.
Their motto is the character of success. That is their motto. Yes.
Really? Wow. Well, I think that's a good choice on either Pat's part or the athletic department there at Oregon State, Bryant.
And
maybe they're better than we know.
And they're the Bulldogs. They are the Bryant Bulldogs.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Well, let's take this timeout. When we come back, we have things to talk about, like, for example, we have a couple of key high school games coming up if you're a high school fan. We will tell you we have several of them this weekend, and hopefully more next week if these teams can win tonight and advance to Matthew Knight Arena. Do we want to rename that?
I think so.
Yeah, get it out of the Knight family. Let's take the, there you go. Let's kick the whole Knight family out. We're now taking over the University of Oregon, and because we don't want to be beholden to these people for our lives. And if we keep accepting their money, we're going to be nothing but just slaves, servants to these people. So as the new athletic director of Oregon, I'm putting in a call right now to Phil. I've had enough. He's done. We'll be back in a bit.
Never again will one generation of veterans abandon another. Did you serve in the U.S. military between 1961 and 1975? The Vietnam Veterans of America Chapter 585 invites you to join us at the American Legion Hall in Lebanon. Breakfast is on us. Vietnam Veterans of America is the national veterans organization congressionally chartered and exclusively dedicated to Vietnam-era veterans and their families. They aggressively advocate for issues important to veterans, support for the next generation of Americans war veterans, and service to our communities. Men and women-era veterans are welcome the first Sunday of every month at 10 a.m. But come early and let us buy you breakfast and get acquainted with the families, friends, and supporters of veterans of the other eras as well. We meet at the American Legion on Main Street in Lebanon. Vietnam Veterans of America is a community of fellowship with people who share your experiences, needs, and hopes for the future. Join us the first Sunday of every month for breakfast. It's on us. For more information, call 258-2525. We sure would like to see you.
Jay Farner here from Quicken Loans. We get a lot of tweets from folks that sound just like this. Jay, I bought my home in 2007. Since then, it's gone down in value. Now I owe more on my mortgage than my home is worth. Can I refinance? The answer may very well be yes. Recently, the government announced changes that may allow folks to refinance even if their home has lost value. For example, if you owe $300,000 on your mortgage, but your home's only worth $150,000, Quicken Loans may still be able to help you. Or if your current mortgage rate is higher than 3.99%, you've got to give us a call today at 800-QUICKEN. And for 3 years in a row now, J.D. Power & Associates has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. So if your current mortgage is higher than 3.99%, or if you owe more than your home is worth, call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com.
For J.D. Power & Associates award information, visit jdpower.com. Important terms and conditions apply. Calls for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
There are a lot of things we need to talk about in the Mid-Willamette Valley. Hi, I'm Dave Adams, KGAL Radio. We want to have those conversations on this radio station, live. That's what we do every Monday through Friday from 11 to noon. Maybe it's taxes, roads, government, city councils, school boards, whatever. I also want to know what you want to talk about. Email me, dave@kgal.com, and join the conversation. Valley Talk, 11 a.m., Monday through Friday, News Talk, 1580 KGAL.
The Albany Public Schools Foundation presents the I Run.
Don't be confused. This is not a new exercise device. This is the I Run for Kids 5K Run Walk and 10-mile run on Saturday, March 16th for the Albany Public Schools Foundation. Register online at albanypublicschoolsfoundation.org. I Run for Kids proceeds support Albany Public Schools Foundation's Classroom Grants Program, enriching the education opportunities for Albany Public School District students. Let's run together.
Get tomorrow's news tonight. John Batchelor, Sunday through Friday nights on Smart Talk 1580.
Welcome back from the sidelines. We're talking about baseball today. The Beavers are playing baseball against Bryant University out of Rhode Island at 5:30 this afternoon at Goss Stadium. Baseball is back, and that means so is the number one song in the baseball world this week, If the Dodgers Had Stayed in Brooklyn. It's been a long time. Today is March 1st. I feel good about that. I want to hear this again. It's been a long, long time. And now, here it is, still at number one, If the Dodgers Had Stayed in Brooklyn.
If the Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn, maybe things would be different today. Maybe John F. Kennedy would have been president till 1968. I don't know, I wasn't born yet. I was just wondering, hope that's okay. If the Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn, maybe things would be different today. Maybe we'd spend our money different, like making sure some kid didn't have 45 other kids in his third grade class. Maybe automobiles would get 150 miles to a gallon of gas, if they even used gas. There'd be a job when you were strong, and a meal when you were hungry, and an ear when you had something to say. Maybe everything would be different if the Dodgers had never moved to L.A. If the Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn, maybe Watergate would still be some obscure hotel. Tiananmen Square would be a square, and Vietnam a vacation spot that travel agencies would try to sell. Maybe Jesus would have come for the second time by now, or the first time, depending how you feel about that stuff. If the Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn and decided Ebbets Field was enough, you could argue that everything would be exactly the same. I can't prove I'm right, and neither can you. But if one kind heart leads to another kind heart, what do you think one greedy heart can do? If the Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn, maybe things would be different today. Maybe a man without pride or compassion would be unknown, like a river that runs the wrong way. I don't know, and this is just speculation. I wasn't born yet, I wasn't even on the map. Maybe everything would be different if the Dodgers still had a B on the front of their cap. If the Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn, maybe things would be different today.
And there you have it, at number one again this week, and for the rest of the baseball season, If the Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn, the whole thing. It's good to hear that. The sun is shining. It brings a good feeling this morning. Meanwhile, my friends with their so-called smartphones, I refuse to call them smartphones. That is an admission that they are better than you are. are still trying to find out who sang If the Dodgers Had Stayed in Brooklyn. You found the answer last year, Rob. I remember it was a weird name.
Did I?
Yes. You told us one time who sang that song.
Boy, your memory is better than mine at this point. But
couldn't find it.
But no, it was Dan Dern. I got mixed up, and it's Dan Dern. It's Dan Dern after Scott looked at it, and it's Dan Dern.
Dan Dern sang. I thought it was a weird name that you gave us last year. Dan Dern.
That's not
Well, it's not a common name. I mean, Dern.
But then it also says, it says AKA Bernstein.
Bernstein.
Well, why would he change it? Bernstein, it would be Dan Byrne, not Dan Dern. Why?
Byrne?
It sounds like Gabby Hayes. Why, you dad Byrne sidelighter?
Yeah.
All right. Dan Dern.
We'll go with it.
Dodgers had stayed in Brooklyn. I want to ask you a question here of a story that came in this morning. Tradition-rich UCLA, you know them. Is that Rhode Island? Are they from Rhode Island?
No.
No, where are they from?
They're from Los Angeles, California.
Oh, is that? Why, that almost matches it, except that would be ULCA.
That's right. I've always thought they should switch the letters around.
Why don't we vote on it? We're voting on things this morning. Whatever we say goes. ULCA and Louisville are trying something for new. Something for new. I think they got those backwards. Something new for the basketball postseason. Sleeves. Did you know that?
No.
Adidas has unveiled its new brightly colored camouflage pattern uniforms for 6 men's teams. Kansas, Notre Dame, and Cincinnati. That would make 3 plus the other 2 would be 5. The other 6th one apparently doesn't want to be mentioned in this group. Kansas, Notre Dame, and Cincinnati will also sport the multi-hued shorts, but will stick with sleeveless jerseys. So apparently they're talking about sleeves on the basketball jersey. Of course, they already, long sleeves in the warm-up. What do you think of that? I would say that anything that you do that is different in the postseason that you've done in the regular season is you don't want to do that, including the uniform. You don't suddenly want sleeves on a jersey while you're shooting a basketball. This seems to imply that it will be the basketball jersey, right?
Yeah.
That's what
it's going to be part of the jersey.
That's what it sounds like. What would you do? We are voting on this.
I don't like it.
No. Well, I saw a picture of it yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I'm going to try to pull it up here on the phone. But it didn't look good, Ray. It didn't look good.
They will wear long sleeves on the court.
Well, it looked like it was just like a shirt. Like some people wear shirts under their jerseys. It looked like this part of the sleeve, not the whole sleeve.
You got extension.
Oh, so it's just, I hadn't even thought of that. I'm thinking of sleeves. Mm-hmm. It's just the top part.
Yeah,
that's still like a sleeve. You're right.
This part of it. Like, it's all, it's attached. It's not like under the jersey. It's just like the whole jersey is attached. So I'm trying to find it here.
So it looks like a newer T-shirt.
Yeah.
Of course, those are sleeves, even though those are short sleeves. When you say to me sleeves, it's like the shirt that I'm wearing here, what they call the long tee. These are sleeves. Whenever I speak of your T-shirt, that's a short sleeve. So this threw me off, but that makes sense. I was wondering why they would have sleeves on their arms.
Me too.
And I couldn't think that they would do that. But good for you, Scott. You want to become the host because you saw through this thing.
Oh, boy.
It's all you, buddy.
And I could not imagine why they would do that, because that would throw you off to have, the feeling of the long sleeves.
Here's a picture of them. Hang on.
Yeah. No, the short sleeves won't really make any difference. Okay, fine. That makes sense.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. All right. I wouldn't call those.
No.
Yeah, I guess they're sleeves. What else could you call them?
I don't see the point. I really don't see it. Look at the shorts, too.
The shorts is the worst part of it. Like,
shorts, I would say short sleeves.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So who's the 6th one? We had Notre Dame, Kansas, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, ULCA, and Louisville.
And Baylor.
Baylor. How is Baylor getting into all
the
this
Baylor
stuff?
Bears.
Baylor is out of Waco, Texas, a backwards place.
I don't know.
Why is Baylor suddenly hitting the sports heights?
RG3 has put them on the map.
Football, but basketball. I mean, they've been
basketball. Brittany Griner.
Women's basketball and also men's basketball with some surprises for a couple of years. What are they doing? It's got to be illegal, don't you think?
Yeah, it must be.
It usually is.
Cheating.
Yeah.
Let's get on the phone to the NC2A and ask them to investigate. There's something going on at Baylor. There's something going on in our stations this weekend. We have high school basketball tonight. West Albany last year, and I think 2 years, twice I think they've been knocked out by Eagle Point in the playoffs. I know it was last year when they were down there. This year, Eagle Point comes to West Albany tonight. It's payback time, and that will be a 7 o'clock game on 920 K-Show. Ryan and Wally will do the play-by-play, and West will be one win away from going to Matthew Knight Arena next week in the championship. So that's a big game tonight, 7 o'clock on K-Show. And girls basketball, tomorrow West Albany is home to Churchill. West Albany was not only undefeated in the league at 14-0, they're undefeated on the season at 23-0. And that's amazing with the loss of Samantha Signer when she left. And she's had a good year for a freshman, really, at Oregon State. She's played, has seen several minutes. Good for her. But when she left West Albany, you had to feel that my thumb is going down, those without the video. Right. But that hasn't been the case.
No.
They have a sophomore who was was the offensive player of the year in the league. And darn, I lost that sheet. His last name Meyer? Try to find that. We'd take a break now, but we're already done. They got in all the breaks already.
It wasn't good. You said it's Meyer?
I probably have that wrong.
And maybe Duval?
She's a sophomore.
Yes.
Duval, is that?
Kaya Duval.
Kaya Duval, is that the name?
That sounds familiar. She tore Lebanon up for 7 3-pointers when they played at West.
And that's the sophomore?
That's a sophomore.
Her. Kaya Duval.
5'4".
Yeah, well, that's
5'3".
That's a real find for them. She hits the 3-point shots, and they are back. In fact, they're undefeated at 23-0, and they play Churchill tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock start on 920 K-Show. Again, Ryan and Wally with the play-by-play there. And the Lebanon girls, for a second year, have a chance to get to the championship round. They play the Dalles Watonka tomorrow night. Probably a very closely matched game because in the OSAA's Weird Eyes, Lebanon was number 8, Dalles Watonka number 9. You would expect a very good ball game. But the winner goes to Matthew Knight next week and gets the privilege to play against probably
Springfield Millers.
Springfield. And the Springfield team that we were talking about, if it's Lebanon, Scott and I will be there for wherever they go. Yeah. Wherever the West Albany girls will be on K-Show, Lebanon girls will be on KGAL. It would be interesting to broadcast the game with Lebanon and Marty Benedict slowing things down, like what happened.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, what would you do in that situation? Wouldn't really be a play-by-play. It'd just be just standing around.
Ball at center of the court.
I think it goes against Marty's the way he coaches.
Oh, no, see, we're going to get into the same thing we did last week. Why would it go against his philosophy? What he wants to do?
You want to win the game, right?
That's my point.
That's his point.
I don't want to belabor that again this weekend.
I wasn't here last week, but
that's the point I made over.
Okay.
I do want to give props to the Midwestern Mid-Willamette Conference girls, Ray. The conference, 5 teams out of the 16 are from the conference. So 5 out of the 8 made it. So the strongest conference.
Yeah.
So that says a lot for West Albany going undefeated and Lebanon doing their thing as well. So big sports weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I can't find that sheet. There are a couple of, I know Crescent Valley and Corvallis are also playing tomorrow night. The Corvallis boys are at Mountain View tonight after winning a play-in game earlier this week. So good luck to all of them. And the Lebanon games will be here at KGAL, 6 o'clock tomorrow night for the girls' game. On K-Show again, boys' game tonight at 7, girls tomorrow at 6. Have a good sports week, everybody. Boy, it's nice to have the sunshine back, and they're playing baseball in Arizona and Florida. That's great. We've renamed the field down there, PK Field, to CK Field, Copycat, cat with a K. We've done many good things this morning.
Yes, we have. I feel great.
Thank you, Scott Landgren.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, Rob Allen.
Thank you, Ray.
Go home and...
Your first choice in local news, sports, and smart talk. This is News Talk 1580 KGAL, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis.